abdominal pain, and you're going to see a mesenteric mass that won't be hard to see, which is the, whoops, that's too early. I mean, that's too late. Here's what it looked like initially. You guys can see that?
Yes.
Okay. So they forget the name on this is a fictitious name in MRN. That's how the Phillips Papst does it when you anonymize. But here's the findings. It's this material here. You'll recognize this structure. And so this material is in front of and sort of behind. All over here. And all over here. This is the transverse duodenum. There's some vasculature. That's an approximate measure of 13 by 9. I'll show a quick coronal, and then maybe anybody could come up with a differential.
Lymphoma?
Lymphoma was in the original differential for this.
Lymphangiomatosis?
Yeah, that's what I think too. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is, if you do ROIs, it is kind of low in attenuation. And this is a contrast-enhanced study, so it's relatively low, and it's kind of infiltrative looking. It looks like all over the place. So that wasn't in the original differential diagnosis. They said, you know, worrisome for lymphoma, I think is how the original read went on this one. There were some IR biopsies that were performed that were inconclusive. And then finally, the surgeons did an excisional biopsy. And it was basically lymphangioma. So this is like a giant mesenteric lymphangioma. The initial thoughts from the surgeons were that they would sclerose this and maybe then resect it. But then Foundation 1 testing occurred, and they found this patient to be PIK3A positive. That's a pathway that regulates cellular processes. I'm not an expert in this stuff, and if you're interested at all in PIK3, there was a Nature Reviews Cancer 2002 about it. But I did find in Google Scholar that up to 23% of lymphatic malformations can exhibit the PIK3A. And so this patient went on a trial of a PIK3A inhibitor, which was a Novartis experimental drug. And I'm not receiving any kickbacks on this. I'm just so in case you want to point your oncologist in the right direction. That drug was initiated. So what I was showing to you was late 2015. This patient went on a phase 2 trial in May 2016. And then I'll show you the pre, which is March 2016, and then the follow-up to those. So March 2016. So this is March 2016, which doesn't look, I don't think they did anything. Or if they did maybe some traditional angiogenesis stuff. And it looked about the same. It measured about the same. Some areas looked a little bit more fatty than they had before. I'm not sure if that's you know, some attempted treatment effect, but it hadn't done much. But by the time you get to July 2017 on this experimental drug, there's been marked improvement. Now the patient had abdominal pain. Those abdominal pain symptoms did go away. And although the lymphangioma didn't regress entirely, and there was always something that you could sort of see and measure, and then because they were on a trial, we were giving these measures. And I think it probably was only a partial response criteria by, you know, if you applied RECIST criteria, and it was hard to measure in the first place anyway. But the symptoms went away, and the thing was markedly smaller. And then the patient, I think for reasons personal to the patient, decided to stop the drug. And so the latest follow-up was that the thing had grown again just a little bit compared to the last comparison prior, but not much. A little bit. Honestly, to my eye, it looks about the same. There's some solid components in here that maybe they're just lymph nodes. The patient did not have any substantial side effects to this inhibitor drug. So I thought it was kind of an interesting case of non-surgical treatment of lymphangioma with this inhibitory drug that was discovered as a inhibitor based on Foundation 1 testing. That's all I have. Sorry.